Hey kids, Mr. and Fly here, hope you're well. Been a while since I've done any videos, haven't had too much to say to be honest, but this is a video I've been meaning to make for a long while. A number of people asked for it and I've said that I was going to do it, so I'm finally getting around to doing it. I want to give you a bit of an overview of this fabulous little black box here that you get on the 2014 GS. This is the BMW Navigator V SatNav. It's actually a Garmin unit, but it's so much more than a SatNav. And I just want to take you through some of the features and functions of it. I'm by no means an expert on it. The manual, I have to say, that comes with it is pretty rubbish. So there's lots to find out about it, but I just want to talk you through some of the basic features and functions and some of the great things that it does for the bike, and why you really shouldn't buy one of these fabulous beasts without one. So first thing to show you, I guess, is the unit itself and how it's mounted on the bike. So this here it is. This is what she looks like, and it's great in that it's quite securely mounted on the bike with the same key that you use for the ignition. You know, as you'd expect, it's very easy to get in and out. Simply clips off like that. There we go, and that's the unit. It feels very robust and solid. It feels well made, and it seems very rugged and waterproof. This is the mount itself. It comes with a plastic blanking plate, and a handy little zip-up box to keep everything in, to keep it nice and safe if you're off the bike. But if you're just at the garage, at the fuel stop or whatever, then it is, as I say, with the locking system, it's pretty secure. Just clips on there, you push that back in there, back around to the locking, and bingo, she's in and she's not going anywhere. So that's how she sits in the cradle. If you buy the bike without this is an optional extra, quite an expensive one unfortunately, but I do think well worth the money. If you buy the bike without the SatNav, then unfortunately you get the blanking plate, and that's what you're going to be looking at all the time, so that's a bit rubbish. Okay, so there we go, there's that. So next thing to show you is obviously the way she looks when the ignition's turned on. Goes into this sort of mode straight away. Before I show you the details on the actual SatNav itself, just got to show you this control here. This is the control in question. This is an amazing little piece of kit. It allows you to do pretty much anything on the device without actually touching it yourself. You can of course use a gloved finger if you want, or an ungloved finger, and just press on it, and that works fine. Thus, or if you want to use this control, which obviously is great when you're on the bike, then that's the thing to do. So you can just tilt. You can literally tilt this, and it will take you through the different screens that are available. So just by nudging it left or right, it'll take you through the various screens, which is fabulous. And then also it's got a rotation function, so if you're on the map, you can zoom in and out, for example, and it does that on various other screens as well. So that's fantastic, and I think that for me is the kind of killer app for this whole thing. That's the thing that makes the SatNav so integrated and so useful on this particular bike. So so that's probably all there is to show you in the garage for now. Let's just take the bike out then on the move and just show you a couple of the features while she's actually moving on. Stay tuned. So this is my my sort of standard display that I have the SatNav set up on when I'm normally riding. Just gives me some basic information, the stuff that I want to know most of the time really. How warm it is both outside and the engine temperature, speed I'm doing, and the time of day. And the great thing about this is on the control, if I rotate it I can zoom in or out and get different information. So I could just go for speed or temperature, or I could just go for speed if I want to. Whatever I want to do I can do that, and I can zoom right the way out again, and I can get every parameter going. The reason why I want to show you this one is just because this shows you what some of the parameters you can get going when you're actually on the move. Not all of these are available when the bike is stationary. So for example, the tyre pressures I've got showing on there. Hopefully you can read, I don't know if you can with this camera shaking around a bit as it is. Hopefully you can read that you can see the front tyre and rear tyre pressures there. Of course, all these parameters there, I think there's what is there, 816 on the screen. That's the most you can have at any time, but you can have each of those boxes showing whatever you want to show. So that's great, thank you madam. So yeah, so whatever you want to put on there, if it's odometers or, you know, I think even things like number of gear changes and lean angle and stuff like that, if you want you can get on there. And all the usual stuff as well that you'd expect, like miles per gallon, temperatures, speeds, average speeds, you know, even got your elevation on there of course because it's a GPS. So yeah, you name it, you can show it, you can display it on there. One of the features I like about the Navigator 5 on the bike is the fact that you can move between screens without touching it very easily. So here we can select various things here which I can just adjust on the handlebars, or by pushing the handlebars left and right and go to the compass view, or I can go to the map view, and again I can zoom in without, or out as I did in that case, zoom in as much as I like without actually taking my hands off the handlebars. Absolutely fantastic for that. don't know if you noticed there as I zoomed back in, but the roads that are, have got a blue breadcrumb trail on, they're roads that I've already ridden, so it keeps a sort of a log. And what you can do is connect it up to your PC and check the data for that particular stretch of your ride, and it logs that for a long way back. In fact, I don't know what the memory capacity is, but and whether it then sort of overwrites your original logs, but it's been doing that ever since I started riding with the bike. And if I want, on any day, I can go back and look at the data to see what speed I was doing on what road at what time, which could potentially be useful if you're in some sort of a, you know, dispute with the police or something, maybe over speeding, or if you'd witnessed an accident or something like that, then that could be useful. And here's a feature for the off-road enthusiast. If you've got a route programmed in, then this compass would actually have an arrow pointing to your next waypoint, but I don't. But if you notice, as we go around the corner, the heading changes and it lets you know where you're pointing. So if you are actually riding off-road, presumably somewhere without any distinguishing features across a desert or something, then that would be quite a useful feature, I'd imagine, although around here not particularly useful. To be honest, for local riding when I'm not touring around, then this is the mode that I have the device in most of the time. I just find this very useful to have an at a glance, very easy to see reading of my speed, so much easier than the actual dials that are on the bike. Okay, that's all I've got to say about it moving. Let's go back to the man cave and show you some of the other features. And then when you turn the bike off, it gives you this option as to, you know, whether you want to keep the SatNav on so you can do some analysis, or if you just leave it and do nothing, then it'll go off anyway when that countdown finishes. But in this case, I've finished riding for the moment, so I can just turn it off by pressing that button, and it works with a glove hand, no problem at all. There we go. So welcome back to the man cave. So that's what she looks like actually on the bike in operation. Let's just show you a couple of things then that she does off the bike. One of the things you notice quite quickly once you get it off the bike is the fact that it does feel very, very solid and well made. So great bit of kit in terms of the quality. One of the things on here to point out is you've got this button at the back, power button. Fire that up and it takes the machine back to that start screen that you saw earlier. There are lots of additional offline functions that you get with this if you don't do a hard reset. Unfortunately, between my last shot on this video and this one, I did a hard reset, so it's lost some of the information from the last ride in there. But take my word for it, you can go under a My Bike option within the applications, and I don't know if you can see that. Go quite clearly or not, hopefully you can. Anyway, within there you can see things like number of brake depressions, lean angle, that kind of thing, medium maximum speeds, the routes you've taken, etc. So it becomes quite a sophisticated data logger. The other things just to mention about it, just turn that off now, is of course it's got Bluetooth, so it hooks up to your phone, so it's fantastic for that. It also allows you to listen to music if you want to. I'm not a fan of music on bikes, but if you are, you can. Also, of course, by using your Bluetooth headset, means you can hear the navigation instructions, because it is a SatNav too. We haven't talked much about that, but of course that's its main function. Something else to mention is it comes with a piece of software called Garmin Basecamp. It looks a bit like this, and this is what you can plan your routes on in advance. You can, if you like, you can actually prepare them on Google Maps and then download them to Basecamp and then put them into the player. So that's quite a useful function. What else to mention about it? Not much, I don't think. I mean, as I say, loads and loads of features and functions in here. I've barely scratched the surface of it, but I find this so useful. I didn't think, I mean, I bought it almost as a kind of an afterthought, just because I didn't like looking at the blanking plate as much as anything, but I've had such utility out of this. I would now say do not buy a 2014 GS without one. It's a fantastic bit of kit. Unfortunately, an optional extra, that's BMW for you. In the UK, I think this was about £600 as an option, which seemed a bit steep, but it does include lifetime map updates for the whole of Western Europe in my case. So actually I think it's quite a good value piece of kit, particularly if, for example, I compare it to what I pay for an aviation GPS. So it's an excellent bit of kit. Don't buy a GS without one. Anyway, I hope that's been of some interest to you. Ride safe. Look forward to speaking to you soon. In the meantime, this has been the Missenden Flyer. Cheerio.